Hey everybody! Sorry I've been gone for so long, but I've been dealing with quite a few things, family and friends and stuff. Been doing a lot of grieving, and it's been affecting me quite a bit. And then I got some other stuff going on, like really busy surgery stuff, all this stuff. I'm not gonna get into it all because it's boring and it's probably gonna bring you guys down too, but we're all right. And so much has been going on. I was like, all right, let me try to come back, and I wanted to do another podcast style type of thing, where the last time I did something like this was on the video my thoughts on Alex Jones getting Infowars banned by Silicon Valley. He's deplatformed from a lot of things, and I said I was going to do more, so sorry about that because I haven't done one since then. I've actually been doing some stuff behind the scenes as well, as far as trying to get some podcasts prepared. I want to do something independent along the lines of how Bill Burr does this thing, where he's not reliant on guests, and hopefully I can make it very entertaining. At least you guys can enjoy while you're going to work, or while you're at work, or just just chilling, doing something, doing some homework, whatever the case is. I love podcasts. I love long form type of stuff, and I want to give you some stuff like that too. Now, let's talk about Sargon getting banned from Patreon.
Supreme victory!
So I'm sure like well over 90% of you guys know who Sargon of Akkad is, Carl Benjamin. I've been watching him since 2014 when I first started this channel. And he was someone that I would look towards to as far as like news would go, and he would do This Week in Stupid, and just seeing a lot of the wacky stuff that was going on, and a lot of people would send him articles, kind of like how things have gotten to where I do this Twitter trash, and people will send me just trash tweets all the time, and it's not like they're not even looking. They're just stumbling upon trash all the time because people think they're much more important than they really are, and they're always saying really dumb stuff, and they always think people want to hear that stuff, and it's like, no, maybe you should just shut up a little bit. Sometimes you just chill, read it, and be like, maybe I should just shut up. But I digress. So Sargon has been doing his kind of political content. He's been in the whole sphere that I've been in, and obviously he's infinitely more prominent, and he's done a lot of things that like transitioning into politics, actually, where I'm kind of doing the opposite, where there's people that want me to get more involved. I've had a lot of offers to do speaking events and on a lot of things, and maybe even going on tour and all this stuff, but it's not necessarily my realm because I'm on a different level of things. Like when I want to talk about politics in particular, like I usually get pretty frustrated because people are still on a level that they don't really want to get to the crux of the issue. And I kind of bring this up because this whole situation with Sargon getting banned from Patreon, I feel like it's kind of the same problem as well. Like there's a political game going on, and then there's also an issue that's really going on, but there's people that are really involved in just, their ideals and their same team, and they're not looking past that stuff. So let me give a little bit of a background. If you didn't watch Sargon's video about it, I highly suggest you watch it so you can get more information in detail of what's going on. But essentially, Sargon 10 months ago, I'm pretty sure it was 10 months ago, he said, he went on a live stream, and the alt-right has been screwing with him quite a bit for a while. They've been butting heads, especially when Sargon debated Richard Spencer, and you can tell he didn't even care at all. He barely showed up to it. He phoned in the debate, and so he didn't embarrass Richard Spencer, which is something that's pretty fucking easy to do, right? Like if you're not into white nationalism or ethno states, if you're not into that stuff, then pretty much you're like, what is this? What is this stuff? So, but if you're into it, you're like, oh, he did a great job because Sargon didn't even care. And anyway, so there's been a lot of back and forth and a lot of stuff in between, but Sargon has specifically called these trolls and some of these guys that have been messing with him the N-word. He called them white N-words, to be specific, and he has the clip. I'm not going to play it in here. It doesn't really need to be played, but yeah, this is essentially what got him banned from Patreon. And where things get a little weird and squirrely is that it's not a real reason that he should have been banned, because Patreon has some clear-cut rules of how you get banned from their platform. And one of the main rules, and this is said by the Jack Conte, the CEO of Patreon himself, that you have to violate the rules on the platform, so on Patreon. And so what happened with Sargon was not a part of his Patreon content, the material. It was just something that was just a one-off that he went on a stream and said some stupid shit, and then that got him banned. But according to Jack Conte, that's not how things are supposed to work, you know? And so that's where one of the biggest things, one of the biggest problems of this, because you have a lot of people that don't like Sargon, right? And I understand why they do or don't, whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant. They don't like him, but they'll celebrate that he's gone. They're happy that he's gone. People that are on the far left, the progressive ideologues, are happy because they don't like Sargon. And then you have the progressive, the conservative ideologues, the people on the far right, a lot of the white nationalists, a lot of the people that, you know, consider themselves a part of the alt-right. They don't like Sargon, so they're happy. And the funny thing is, they're the ones, the people on the far right are the ones that trigger this. They're the ones that got Sargon banned, which is kind of like, it's almost like the far left and the far right are almost working together. It's almost like you ever see that meme from Predator with Dutch and Dylan when they're doing that epic handshake, and it just shows two people like coming together with one common goal. So it's like you have the far left ideologues and the far right ideologues coming together to hate Sargon. That's essentially what's happening right now, because the left aren't saying anything about this because they're like, well, he did use egregious language. He used it in a very derogatory way. And I'm like, yeah, he did. He knows he did. He absolutely did it purposely. It wasn't a slip up or anything. He owns it 100%. But the thing is should that get him banned from the platform? I don't think so. From knowing the terms of service, I don't think so. You know, those are one of the things where I looked at this and I was assuming that, oh, this should probably get overturned. Like, I thought this should get overturned, but Sargon has emailed them, people have emailed them and tried to get this all sorted out, and it's pretty much come down to, no, this was a rightful ban. It doesn't really matter that it was outside of Patreon. You know, we saw something egregious and we don't want him on the platform. And the thing is, there wouldn't be as much bitching, right, if that was the clear-cut guidelines, if that's how it was supposed to be, if it said specifically that in the terms of service. Now, because this is a game, you know, it's all about politics, they might change the term of service, they might update them so it does say that now, which is pretty messed up, because you know, we all know, everybody, Jack Conte, everyone knows, doesn't matter what where you are on the political spectrum, we know there is somebody's content, whether they seem nice or not, they're not very controversial, they're probably using pretty messed up language and they should be kicked off. I mean, I can talk about some a podcast that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed for a long time, then I kind of fell off from them. They're called Cognitive Dissonance. You can dig up stuff that they've said, terrible things, especially at like religious people's expense, conservatives' expense, very horrible derogatory stuff, which I'll find hilarious because I don't really care. If it's a funny joke, it's funny to me. But just using their rules, we can dig up some of their stuff and get them deplatformed. And that would be really messed up because, you know, they're a very prosperous show. I know they had a lot of support on Patreon. I haven't checked on them in a long time, but that's just one example. We can go high, we can go low, and then the whole thing could implode if we really wanted to try and force that. But we know that's not going to happen. And one of the reasons why it's most likely not going to happen, why it would never implode like that, because there has been a bias. You know, when it comes to Silicon Valley, when it comes to these type of tech companies, they're all progressive, right? And it wouldn't be a problem if they didn't want everybody else to be progressive as well. Like, I don't care if you actually are progressive. I can kick it with anybody, and as long as you don't try to force your beliefs down my throat, we're cool. I mean, that's just kind of like that one rule that everybody knows, but these people aren't respecting that. They don't care about that. They're like, oh, we think you should think our way. So when it comes to people that are, you know, people of color, women, people that are progressives, they're biased towards them. They're gonna get they're gonna get hooked up, you know. And so that's why you see who else got banned? Milo Yiannopoulos, James Alsop, the white nationalist. Some other people got banned, but they were all considered on the right. And no matter how much Sargon likes to say that he's a liberal or something, you know, you can't consider him center left with some of the policies and his ideals if you actually listen to him. But he's considered right, like no matter what. That's how they've painted him. So that's why he was one of the people that were gone too. And you can see that obviously the same things have happened on Twitter. It's been like that on Twitter for a long time. People, conservatives getting banned. Them getting de-verified then banned, and you see like it doesn't happen nearly as much on people on the left, if at all. Like, say, one of the weirdest examples as far as talking about Twitter is a guy named Tariq Nasheed that you guys know that I've danced with quite a bit. That guy has said some of the most racist stuff, some of the most homophobic stuff, some of the most sexist stuff, like real homophobia, real sexism, real racism. you know, and he's fine. Oh, one time he got de-verified for like a few hours. You know, where anybody else that is a conservative, would they ever get their check mark back? No, of course not. You know, even though it's supposed to be about verifying your identity, it's a social status thing. You get privileges. It's clout, right? Right? That's what it is. And so this guy, you know, Tariq Nasheed, being this pro-black dude, he's on the left. You know, he gets his check mark back. He doesn't get banned for all this stuff. But somebody else, like say, if anybody else on the right says the same stuff, they're gone immediately. So it's kind of a problem, you know. It's not a problem for me particularly as far as Twitter goes, because I don't really say crazy stuff, and I'm actually not a conservative. I don't spout out conservative ideals, even though some of our stuff will cross over. But it's not really a big problem. And obviously, you know, they'd probably go easy on me because I'm black. You know, that's just how it is, right? But as far as Patreon goes, this is a big deal to me and a lot of people, because you are seeing effects. You know, people that support Sargon, or people that just support the principles of free speech or whatever, even though it is a private company, they're angry and they're leaving. I've lost a lot of support, and I understand. I'm not mad at the people for leaving. I'm mad that this is happening because I've lost a lot of support. So many messages I've gotten, people like, oh, you get out of here. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Sorry, I'm out of here. I can't stay on here. Same thing happened when Lauren Southern got banned, and you know, I didn't say anything either because I was like, all right, I understand why you guys are leaving. You're mad that she's gone, and you think it's BS. I don't know. I don't know about that situation. I felt like it's technically was justified or whatever, but still, a lot of people left. Like my Patreon has dwindled quite a bit, and that's all right. Now, people did request me to go on a thing called Subscribe Star that Sargon is on. I looked into it, so I set up an account. So if you guys do want to continue supporting me, I'll be putting stuff up on Subscribe Star and Patreon as well. Like, it's all good. I appreciate your guys' support either way. You know, you don't need it. If anything, if you just want to do one-off stuff, you can always buy my merch, man. I got some good merch going on, and actually got some new pieces I'm working on, so look out for that. But in a nutshell, I think this is unfortunate. I was really hoping that things are going to get overturned, but I haven't heard anything yet, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen, which is pretty messed up because, you know, a lot of these companies are starting to have the monopoly. Stripe, you know, there was other things going on like maker support, which didn't work out, and people are just going to keep getting bought out, and it's like you just go with us now. Like, say Stripe, you're going to just use us. Like Patreon, stuff like that's happening, so it's going to be hard to maneuver and operate. And Sargon, he's not a very, like, he's shrouded in controversy because he kind of allows himself to talk to a lot of different type of people, and he doesn't really seem to care. But that's kind of like on him essentially, because when it's all about politics, right? When you're talking about politics all the time, it's all about this stupid game you got to play. So you got to buddy up with the right people, and you got to stay away from these type of people. And if you don't, then you get this stuff slapped on your resume. You know, like, even if you're just trying to be cordial and have a discussion with someone that you completely disagree with, all of a sudden you're problematic because you associated with them. Remember that graph that somebody made? Some researcher made some graph of like, look at this person was on this person's channel and this person talked to this person, so they're helping out the alt-right or something like that. That shit was crazy. Like, people that never associated or talked to each other were all linked together just because at some point somebody talked to somebody. And that's how shit is, and this is the reason why this is happening. Now, I don't know if things are gonna change, but I hope they do, because I would like people to come back to Patreon. I've had no problems with it. I think it's a pretty good platform, except for this happening. But I guess we're gonna have to see. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that. And if you guys have any different takes on this, like, I've heard some people say that this is completely his fault and this was bound to happen. I mean, it's a weird thing to say because it almost sounds like you're condoning what happened, right? Like, you think he deserves to be deplatformed. I don't know. That's what the language kind of sounds like to me. But if you guys have a different take on this, I would love to hear it. I'd love to hear it, because maybe you think I'm totally wrong, and that's totally all right. But this is just how it's coming off to me. This is how I perceive it. That's what it sounds like to me. It seems unfair, and it would be nice if Patreon had some consistency, or Jack Contier, or whoever is making these decisions. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little podcast ranty style thing. I got another one coming up, and then in a couple of weeks or so, or maybe even less, I'll start putting out some more regular content with, the funny stuff, the stuff that makes you guys feel better. But that's it. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.